Hi everyone, my name is Nayeli Dalisay. I'm a certified Sophia Circle leader and I welcome you back to this beautiful 6 weeks mini series about my very human journey with the Sophia Code over the last almost 5 years. This is part 4 of this beautiful mini series and we're already at the point and moment in time where I start the Sophia Circle leadership training. If you haven't already and you're curious about sort of the years before that, you can go on here, click on here in the corner, and then you can watch all of the beginning to now if you are curious. I really created this series because I want to bring some humanness into the journey with the Sophia Code. Obviously, our journey of ascension, our journey of awakening is so unique to each and every one of us, and also our journey with the Sophia Code is so unique. There's no one way to journey with the Sophia Code, really truly. I believe, and that's also what the Sophia Code reveals, is that we are sovereign, right? And we get to create a relationship with our bodies, with our higher selves, with Sophia. We get to learn to listen to what our intuition is sharing with us, what our bodies are sharing with us, in order to be in the highest timeline, in our highest timeline, and in not someone else's highest timeline, right? And my intention, my prayer of sharing these beautiful, very human journey of my journey with the Sophia Code is to be a mirror. I know for myself it was so vulnerable, first of all, to share about the Sophia Code. It was so confusing in the beginning, and I also felt like, whoa, I was comparing myself so much with the people that I saw online sharing about the Sophia Code because I felt so intimidated by that. There's such a beautiful unfolding for each and every one of us, and I just feel called to share sort of parts of my journey that I felt like, yes, that's something that could serve and support anyone who's working through this beautiful codex, and more importantly, anyone who is navigating through this human journey and awakening to their higher selves in ever-increasing measures. So without further ado, this is part 4, where we are sort of at this point where I'm about to start the Certified Sophia Circle Leadership Training. I will be referring to that as SCL, as the acronym of Sophia Circle Leadership. I decided to join SCL January or February of 2022, and SCL did not start until September, I believe, of 2022. So there was this half year of me going through very interesting pockets of consciousness. I had a very codependent relationship with a mentor of mine, a couple of mentors of mine, but one in particular. I call it myself the false light agenda and narrative that I played into in many ways. And I had a very interesting 2022 before starting leadership training. I was traveling before coming back to Switzerland in summer of 2022, just planning to stay here for 3 weeks before leaving again. Lo and behold, blessed be my body, life happened and I had to stay longer, and now still in Switzerland beginning of 2025. So what happened here? Summer of 2022, I decided that I was going back to Switzerland, visiting my family, especially my grandmother who was really sick, and I had a lot of things collapsing into one. I became the primary caretaker for my grandmother before she transitioned a couple of months later. I had my own health issues. I was unraveling my relationship with my mentor, and I was also figuring out how to be of service and how to create an offering for others. So a lot was happening in that time, and I was living at a friend's place. So I did not have an apartment or a place to live that was my own here where I was, because I had planned to leave. Again, I remember I was very nervous about the operation that I was having. I was praying so much for my operation, and for that to be sort of a rebirth that can happen, and more of myself to really be anchored onto this planet, into my body. And after that, I came back and I was like, okay, I have to cut cords with that mentor. I had to spend so much money in her programs, and I was like, I just can't be in that program anymore. So I cut cords with her, like pretty much very drastically and very quickly. It felt so crazy. And then leadership started. So here I was, leadership started there, I was going through all of these shifts. I was not living in my own space. I was just like very confused about my mentorship. I had just had an operation, and then I'm being asked to do all of these activation steps, and I'm being asked to look at myself as someone who is sharing about the Sophia Code. And at that time I was like, I have not really created that deep relationship with the Ascended Master mentors that I could actually very comfortably and confidently share about the Sophia Code with others, which was really mind-boggling and mind-blowing to me. And I felt so unworthy to be able to share the Sophia Code with others. I really truly remember having a conversation with my inner child, her having so many resistances of doing this certification program, and I was like sitting down with her, having a conversation, compromising with her, listening to her, what her fears were, what her anxieties were, why the resistance was here. And then coming out of that, I was finding a compromise with her of like, hey, let's just see what this is about. And this is not a lifetime commitment. We can just see what this is about. And if it does not feel in resonance any longer, we can still say, okay, that was not for us this moment in time. And that was when something shifted in my consciousness. That was when I was like, okay, I have to go either full in or not at all, because just half-heartedly going through this program just would not serve anyone. So I was like, okay, can we go full in? And anytime that you want, anytime that you feel a resistance, anytime that you feel out of alignment, we can have this conversation. We can see where this is stemming from. And if it really truly is something that we have to walk away from, then we can do that. I had just walked away from that mentor, the many, many, many resources that I had invested into that. It was such a empowering conversation that I had, a really life-changing conversation that I had with my inner child, honoring her where she was, finding a compromise, finding the silver lining, finding out what she needed in order to feel safe to go forth and go through the activation steps. That conversation and that sacred yes was the fuel of me walking through the activation steps and the entire Sophia Circle Leadership Program in a way that I felt so, the diamond light of my higher self was like, we are doing this now, like zoom, so quickly, so clearly. So I don't know how that happened, honestly, but it just happened. After my operation, I thought like, okay, I had my operation now I can leave again. My body was screaming, no, thank you. You are not leaving again. You have to create a sanctuary in a very physical way. So I had a conversation at that time as well with my inner child about finding an apartment, or if that would be in the highest alignment. And once I said yes to that, it was like something just aligned itself. And within 1 week, I decided to find an apartment. I found a potential apartment. I looked at the apartment and I confirmed the apartment within 1 week, which is a miracle in of itself. And then within like 3 weeks, I moved into a new apartment. SEL was truly for those months, end of 2022 and beginning of 2023. It was my anchor, it was my prayer to deepen my relationship with the Ascended Masters. I wanted to get into the juice of the Sophia Code in a new way. I wanted to consciously understand the teachings of the Sophia Code. So far it had been so much somatic, it had been so like, yes, I understand, like my soul knows it. It was such a remembrance, it was such a activation, but on a multidimensional level. And through SCL, I was like, I want to understand, I have to convey this, I want to share the news of the Sophia Code with others. That means that I get to sort of deepen my relationship with it. I get to deepen my relationship with Sophia, my higher self, and the Ascended Masters in ways that I had not yet done so. The Sophia Circle Leadership is a beautiful program and training to establish those relationships, because you're asked to create these beautiful altars and rituals and connections and activation steps with each of the Ascended Masters, which was like, wow, the miracles that were unfolding during that time. Oh my gosh, like with each and every Ascended Master, there was like my physical reality. There were miracles upon miracles really directly from that Ascended Master that were coming into my life, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. So many accelerated experiences and journeys. That was also the moment where I started anchoring myself back into life. I had been going through many very vulnerable arcs of awakening where I feel I was like a sponge, and through being like a sponge, there were also energies that were just not in the highest alignment at all, and that were sort of preying upon my vulnerability. And through really birthing myself back into life through the certification process, it was just a new level, a new chapter, a new relationship with my life in of itself that really got activated and anchored. That being said, oh my gosh, I could share so much more about SCL and about my journey through that, but that was the essence of that rebirth that happened, of me coming back into life in new ways after years of wild transformations and initiations and growth curves. Thank you so much for being here with me on this beautiful journey through witnessing me on my journey through the Sophia Code and with the Sophia Code the past years. If you have any questions or if you want to share a bit about your journey with the Sophia Code, feel free to comment down below. And if you feel there's a new chapter on the horizon for yourself and your relationship with the Sophia Code, then feel free to reach out to me, and I'm so happy to just share about Sophia Circle Journeys and about sort of how Sophia Circle Journeys can support each and every single one of you to experience and deepen your relationship with the Ascended Masters and your higher self and Sophia. Thank you so much again for being here, and I'm sending you so many blessings. All my love.